This is a HeadGum podcast.
What the fuck was that?
You'll know soon enough. But first, we have somebody to thank. A company, really. A company built on principles. A company filled with employees and people that we really respect, we admire, and we appreciate.
And that is enough. Now let's start the show.
Well, I guess we should at least say who they are and what they do.
That's fair. NatureBox.
NatureBox.com. We talk about them so much because we love them so much. The idea is simple. You don't have to go to the store and buy snacks that are bad for you anymore.
I hate going to the store, and I hate being fat.
Mm-hmm. Can I interest you in nutritionist-approved, delicious snacks that are delivered to you? You don't even have to pay for the delivery. They'll deliver it to you for free, and they arrive like clockwork every month.
I'm listening.
I thought you would be.
I was done talking.
Snacks like Parmesan garlic pop pops, snacks like Italian bistro pretzels, mango almond bites, coffee kettle popcorn. Check out their snack catalog.
Buy them for the name, stay for the taste.
You will. I don't know if they have a guarantee, but I will guarantee that there's something for everybody. Check out their snack catalog. Go to naturebox.com/ifIwereYou to look at all their snacks and perhaps, sign up for NatureBox
That's
yourself. And if you do sign up for NatureBox using our coupon code, if you go to naturebox.com/ifIwereYou, forward us that receipt to ifiwereyoushow@gmail.com so we can personally thank you next time we endorse the box.
The box. What's in the box?
I don't know about what's in the box, but I'll tell you who got the box. Alyssa R.
Oh.
Lara R. Or
whoa,
perhaps
are
Laura.
they related?
Laura R. No.
They're probably their last names both are, so I think actually they are sisters.
So many.
So many what? So many last names are A-R-E? R?
Jacob L.
Okay, so they're a distant cousin.
Gavin. So if you have a different last name than someone, you're a cousin.
Yeah.
If you have the same last initial, you're related.
We're all brothers and sisters and cousins up in here, man.
Gavin P. Thomas W. Michael O. Steve W. Steve D. Two Steves.
Two Steves and two W's. So this is all some big incestuous septuplet group right here.
They're not necessarily related, but we do appreciate them nonetheless. Check them out. Some of you have yet to at least check them out. naturebox.com/ifIwereYou. You can enjoy your first box on them.
Free of charge.
If you go to that URL. So, once again, naturebox.com/ifIwereYou right now to unbox a world of taste and possibility.
You don't really have an excuse to not get it for free.
It is a smart idea. Check them out. Taste them out.
Free.
It's good for the office. It's good for home. It's good as a gift. If you got a loved one in your life who's got a birthday or anniversary coming up, you can get NatureBox for them.
That's a good idea.
So naturebox.com. Thank you so much. Thanks for you guys for supporting NatureBox, one of our original sponsors. We love you guys. One of the original sponsors of the HeadGum Network, which we'll get into right now as we start the show.
If I were you, I'd follow through on every single thing you said that we would do. I'd take your hand, you would be me. I'd make it easy so that easily you'd see. The best advice is given to you right here by Jake H. and Amir B.
How was that?
Very soothing.
That's correct. It was soothing.
Thank you.
You nailed it. You nailed the tone of it.
It shouldn't have been a test.
Yeah, he said it was a soothing theme song, and you nailed it.
Oh, really?
No, I made that up.
Of course.
This is Justin Koziski, and he has a SoundCloud. So if you search soundcloud.com/Justin-Koziski, you're
going to have to spell that for people.
Kosisky.
Oh, easier than I thought.
Koziski. Thank you, Justin. Big episode.
Huge.
This, we don't usually have shit to announce.
Yeah.
This is an announcement.
It's an announcement episode.
It's something we've been working on for how long would you say?
I guess we've been talking about it for a year more.
I think more than a year. I think we were living in New York when we came up with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
No shit.
Because I remember Kunal was there visiting us. And like we went to the whiskey and we were coming up with names, remember?
That's true.
So we were at least in New York.
We could look at when we registered the domain.
Oh, I think it was 2 years ago in September.
Holy shit.
Anyway, it's a pretty cool thing. So
Anyway,
let's
we
get started.
follow through. Sometimes it only takes 2 years.
Sometimes it takes 25 months. You might have heard it at the top of the show. This is now a HeadGum podcast.
That is correct.
HeadGum.
This is HeadGum Podcast.
That's right. That was Rose.
Fun fact.
Shout out to Rose for lending her voice. What is a HeadGum podcast? What is a HeadGum? What is HeadGum?
Those are all questions we asked ourselves when we registered the domain
Yeah,
name.
we got the domain name first, and they're like, what's the business plan here?
We've got something.
I guess the idea was to make a podcast network, because we were a part of a podcast network last year. Mm-hmm. And it was our podcast and a bunch of other podcasts.
Right. But you don't want to work for the guy. You want to be the guy.
I don't want to be the middleman. I don't want to pay the middleman. I want to be the middleman.
Right.
And we thought, instead of being on a podcast network with some people that we don't know, what if we just got all of our friends?
That's part two, because we don't want to start a huge podcast network with a bunch of nameless faces that we don't know, and we're just willy-nilly picking up podcasts.
Yeah, we want friends and family.
We approached only our friends and our family.
So, for example, Rosenberg twins.
Oh.
Dave and Jeff.
Oh.
We love them. We have them on our show as much as we can. But our show can't always be Jeff and Dave. Mm-hmm. But their show can be.
Yeah, and Mike Carnell.
That's right. So they have a show on our network.
Right. My three friends that I've known since I was like 13 or 14.
They now have a basically almost a spin-off, but not quite really.
Right.
It's
if
just
you like
them.
the episodes with Dave Rosenberg on our podcast, if you like the episodes with Jeff Rosenberg on our podcast, and I tell you what, you are going to love Mike Carnell.
Unfiltered. These are three friends that know each other so well. They've known each other for more than half their lives.
When I heard the first episode of that podcast, I was crying, laughing. I could not contain myself. It has one of the funniest insults that Dave throws at Jeff. I won't spoil it, but just listen and you'll know the insult that I'm talking
Their
about.
podcast is Twinovations, and the idea is basically...
Is it Twinovations or Twinovation?
Twinovation. Either way, it's Dave and Jeff coming up with business ideas, and Carnell sort of moderating the two.
Carnell throws some in too.
Right. That's an example of a friend that wouldn't necessarily have a podcast on a network if he didn't know us and we didn't love them, and now you guys can enjoy it too.
Right.
Another example, Julia Nunes.
Oh, the Nooner.
Very funny, friendly, talented musician that we're friends with. Mm-hmm. She has such a distinct voice.
And we say, you know what? It's time we didn't just hear songs of hers.
Yeah.
It's time we hear words of hers.
Right.
So her opinions and her opines.
So she had this idea for a podcast called That Was Us, where people bring in an old example of their writing. Actually, your episode, Jake, might be online right away.
Oh, I am. And things got real right off the bat.
Yeah.
We ended up talking about birth control.
Exactly.
So pretty solid.
You brought in like an old email that you wrote.
Yeah, I wrote an email to Planned Parenthood when I was 18.
Right. And I think I'm on episode 2 of that podcast. Every new podcast we have is available now on headgum.com. So usually people have a set schedule, like ours will be every Monday. I think Dave and Jeff's will be every Thursday or Friday. Julia's will be every Wednesday. But we made sure that there's at least one episode online of every podcast for you to enjoy right now. Those are just 2 of I think we're launching with 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Your mom has a podcast.
My mother's doing one.
Your fucking
One of the
mom.
first people to approach me.
Yeah.
She came crawling out the woodwork as soon as she found out I had a network.
You grilled her. You said, I want to see 50 ideas. And then you didn't even read the list. And you're like, let's see 50 more.
Never treat my mother this way. Never treat my mother this way.
Unlike the normal type of podcast, which is 30-year-olds yelling at each other, your mom's has a very...
It's just a soothing year-old woman. I don't know if she wants me to say her age.
Yeah.
I'll just go back to the age that she used to tell me to tell her friends when we ran into them at the mall.
Oh, that's good.
She's 35.
Okay, Stephen, 35-year-old woman.
I got in real trouble one time where she was like, someone asked how old she was. She's like, 35. I'm like, you're 37. Mom, you're 37. She got so mad. I love you, Mama. You don't look a day over 25.
What's your mom's podcast?
It's called The Easy Chair.
Uh-huh.
The idea is that I think her intro is just like, welcome to The Easy Chair. So let me tell you a story. And then she's just, week to week, my mom is a young adult fiction writer, which, anybody would know that because she promoted her young adult novel on our show.
That's true.
But week to week, she's just going to be reading a story.
And every episode is part of that short story that you read.
Yeah.
Also very enjoyable.
Quite soothing, not unlike the intro song.
Then there are some podcasts that have been going on for a while that we incorporated or brought back, like Streeter's podcast.
Yeah,
Talk of Shame. Streeter had a podcast last year that took a hiatus, but we're basically begged him to bring it back, where he has comedians/friends on to discuss most embarrassing stories with Streeter.
We were both on that episode.
That's true.
That podcast as well.
Yes, also true. Josh Rubin has another podcast.
The Mind House podcast. Josh Rubin is somebody that you should love already. He was on our show. He was really funny. He is just a really funny guy in general. You see my college humor everywhere.
Here's an episode you guys would love. Is he had Thomas Middleditch on.
And it's like just one unbroken bit pretty much the entire time.
It is so unfiltered, Middleditch and Josh Rubin. Almost too much, but not enough. And then he has interviews with other artists and actors and comedians trying to discuss their craft, how they became what they became.
And who they became.
There's other podcasts from some of our friends that you may not know yet. Podcasts that you should probably get into. For example, the Gilmore Guys.
Really, really good guys.
That's another podcast that has been around for a while.
Right, they're like into season 4 of Dissecting the Show, right?
Yeah, they are twice a week, and they discuss episode by episode Gilmore Girls. So if you're a Gilmore Girls fan, highly suggested recommendation.
You know what? Even if you're not, it's pretty fun to watch them dissect a show like this.
Yeah. But if you are, it's especially good.
If you're looking for something to watch on TV, you should start the Gilmore Girls and start their podcast.
They also said we would be on their show soon, so hopefully that will happen as well.
Oh, my friends Laura Lane and Angela Spira, they have a podcast called This Is Why You're Single.
It's true.
It comes from their... They do a sold-out comedy show by the same name in New York. They're writing a book by the same name, and I think they're a perfect female podcast for, being single and dating.
Yeah, anybody can listen to us where it's just two dudes waxing philosophical about how dudes do dudes things.
Yeah, and I do know what I'm talking about.
And I can't speak for every gender.
In fact, don't listen to their podcast.
Listen to ours. But if you want a different opinion, a different angle, a different viewpoint, This Is Why You're Single, also on the HeadGum Network.
Listen to that podcast just for their jingle. It is so good.
Also, Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood. Talk about a different viewpoint from than ours. It's Jonathan Braylock, James III, and Jerome Milligan talking about African Americans and their place in the film industry currently and in movie history in general.
These guys are 3 black comedians from the UCB. They're super funny dudes, and I really love their podcast specifically because they will go on these rants that are just so funny, but then also there's like a bunch of times where they'll break it down into like really poignant social commentary.
Yeah, they flip back and forth between the two.
Actually powerful. So it's like there's not a lot of comedy podcasts out there that are like funny and make a point, and this is one of them.
And then I think the last one we haven't spoken about yet was Couple of Questions with Danielle, Joanna, and Claire, also friends of ours. and they interview couples who have been together for at least 2 years.
That's the minimum requirement. So there's nobody that's half-assing it in here.
About just them and their relationship. And that one gets very in-depth and very cool and very interesting.
We did that one, and they were like, right off the bat, were asking us the most intimate, personal questions we've ever been asked in an interview.
Yeah.
And we're like dodging and making jokes, and they're like, haha. But really, when was the last time you two were mad at each other?
Right, we're like, whoa. Like, do you remember your first intense conversation together?
Yeah, when did you know you guys were really, really going to last, like be together?
Yeah. What does Jake provide that you can't get anywhere else? And what does Amir do that Jake doesn't do? I don't know if our episode is going to be first, but our episode is coming up from that. They're all, basically all these podcasts are... We tried to choose the most interesting, also the most entertaining, not necessarily humorous, but sometimes very much so. And they represent different slices of life. There should be something for everybody. So if our podcast doesn't give you enough,
or especially if you like our podcast, then you know that you have the same taste as us, and we like all the podcasts we picked up.
And they're all on.
You also forgot to mention John Gabris.
Holy shit. There's too many. Yes, that is true. Okay, the last one we haven't talked about yet is the one that we've actually been the most involved in. So there's no real reason for us to forget.
Yeah, he was over literally an hour ago recording in our studio.
Maybe that's why he slipped my mind. John Gabris, one of the funniest guys we know, who has been on our podcast before. We specifically seeked him out and was like, do you have a podcast?
Yeah,
and he said...
He's so funny. He was like making me laugh doing NatureBox ads by himself.
He was great on our show, but he doesn't have a podcast because he doesn't know how to start a podcast. So we're like, don't worry, we'll take care of everything else. You just provide this show, and we'll hook you up. So Gabris's show, his pilot episode is us, me and Jake, on his show discussing what the show will be. Because
so find out.
We didn't really know other than just like John Gabris being John Gabris.
Yeah, it's like he didn't need to have an idea for us to want him to do a podcast with us.
Yeah, his podcast is called High and Mighty. If you know Gabris, you'll understand how funny it is. And if you don't know Gabris, now is a great time to figure it out. Some of these shows have us on it already, which is sort of a good gateway, like Gabris's first episode, and then Jake's on Julia's first episode. Jake and I have done Streeter's podcast. We're going to do Josh's podcast. We're going to try to make an appearance on it, some of these podcasts. But give them all a try. At the very least, start with the ones that sound most interesting, and you can hear them all, hopefully, if everything goes well on the technological side,
right,
on headgum.com. That's HeadGum.com.
And all these people are going to be like very active on their like respective social media, so let them know what you think. Let them know that you're enjoying it,
yeah,
that you're listening, that you're checking it out. They'll be very excited.
We're all as excited as hopefully they are, as hopefully you guys are. So everyone's sort of, this is an exciting day, as it were.
Remember that part of every episode where we're like, hey, yeah, click on our links, get us advertisers. It helps us make the podcast better.
Yeah.
That's this.
Right, for
actually
them.
happening.
Now.
Like, you guys did it enough that our podcast was successful, and we're using it to make more podcasts.
It does sound like we're just hammering it home, but I really do think our fans will like a lot of these shows. I don't know if you'll like every single one. Obviously, there's something for everybody.
I know they'll like every single one.
Really?
I like to do sort of a foolhardy confidence.
Yeah.
I think you'll love them all. Sorry. You will love them all.
Guaranteed. So that's it. That's
or your money back.
This is the official launch. We haven't promoted it. We haven't tweeted about it. We haven't Facebooked about it. So this episode of this podcast, Monday, August 3rd, is the official thrust. There should be the first episode, if everything goes well, for every single one of these podcasts. Do check them out. This is an exciting moment.
How do you feel about it?
I'm pumped. At first we were like, let's start with 4 or 5. Let's take it slow.
Well, I think didn't we first say let's start with 10, and then we only got like bites from 3 or 4.
Right. And then by the time Garrett Boatman, very talented guy, built the website, by the time we got everybody else on board, we started thinking, oh, he should have a podcast. Oh, they should have a podcast. Oh, let's approach this person, this person.
Right.
We're at 11.
It's amazing.
11 for the launch. We chose a very busy time in our lives while we're working on our TV show to do this. So that's why I'm saying I hope this is all online. I hope everything's going well. because I think I might be too busy to fix anything if it breaks.
Yeah.
So in a perfect world, everything's online, available for you guys to bite into as soon as possible. And yeah, I guess we hope you like it, and thank you for checking them out.
You will like it. You will check it out. Appreciate that. Do you know that this makes me feel kind of like the first time we recorded a podcast? Do you remember the very first podcast that we recorded?
In my old apartment in Williamsburg,
Yeah.
where we didn't. Oh, you sang the theme song. It was at my kitchen table.
And like the way I felt while we were doing it was like, I think we're having fun, but like I have no idea if this will ever turn
Succeed.
into anything.
Yeah,
it's like
you don't know.
We had no idea if our podcast would be like
A thing.
absolutely panned. Like,
Right.
like if people were going to be like, we only like the videos, Jake and Amir. Don't talk.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. Don't do a podcast.
It's true. It's people only knew us as these characters, where they'd have to wait, a week to watch 3 minutes of a sketch.
Clips. And yeah, like sometimes we do outtakes. Sometimes we do like meet and greets or, live streams or whatever. But podcasting that was a scary one.
Yeah. Well, what podcast does that no other medium does is like, not only can you hang out in a seemingly very intimate environment, just you listening to us two, but we can come up with 45 minutes of content a week. Like,
Right.
even if you have a great TV show that's 22 minutes or an hour a week for like 7 weeks or
Right.
20 weeks a year, this is like 45 minutes, maybe once, maybe twice a week for 3 years straight.
It's insane. And now that we have all these other podcasts with us, how much content are we helping to put out into the ether?
That's true. And all you guys listen to podcasts. This is the hard part, is getting people to listen. You guys are already listening. If you're hearing this, you're listening to a podcast. You know how it works. And hopefully you guys have a little bit more time on your schedule to enjoy some of these other podcasts. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the name HeadGum.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't mean anything, kind of. It does not have any real meaning.
We've got different. First of all, do you want to tell everyone who came up with it?
I think you just did that.
Do you want to tell everyone?
I think it was Marty, right?
It's fucked up. Can't correct you because I'm not supposed to know. That's why I asked. Do you know who came up with it?
I actually can't remember. I think maybe it was like one of those groupthink things, like where I said,
I can maybe search my email.
head corn, and then
Yeah,
like,
you said that is correct.
yeah,
You said head corn.
And I was like, that's pretty close.
That's better.
Yeah, and
Head
then
corn's actually better.
head gum. I think you said it, but I liked it the most.
I did say it, and then I lobbied against it.
Right. Well, I love it because it's fun to say, and it's easy to say, and it's easy to spell, and it's quick to write, and the domain name was available.
Yeah, and there are two real words.
Yeah, head and gum.
Yeah. The reason I like it is because it feels like fresh breath for your brain. It's like, hey, chew on one of our podcasts. It'll like...
It's candy for your mind.
Yeah, well, that's the other way to look at it. Because like gum can be like minty, fresh, refreshing. Your breath, like, your breath is bad, and the gum fixes it. It's like a cure. It's like you imagine a itchy red throat, and then like the lozenge goes in and everything turns to green.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine. It's like a messy orange brain. You listen to a podcast, and then all of a sudden,
It's freshness.
it's a nice green, healthy looking brain.
Is it too late to change the name to Mind Fresh or Fresh Mind? Because now that you're saying this, I feel like we have a
the
lot.
Fresh Air podcast already.
That'd be great.
But then the other alternative is it's like a bubble gum. Is it a gumball for your brain? Because that's a little more playful. It's a little more fun.
Like that kind of shit.
Yeah. Which one do you think it is?
I think it's the first one, the one where it's fresh, because it's like sort of light entertainment.
Refreshing.
It lets you like you're on a commute, you're sitting in traffic. It's not a fun situation.
No one wants to be doing that.
Or you're at the gym, you're pumping weights, you're on an elliptical.
And I know you want to be doing that because you ain't going to the gym if you ain't going to the gym to work. You know what I'm saying?
Or you're doing dishes, or you're doing laundry. It's a way to fill up space in your day in a more entertaining way. Holy shit. It's a way to fill up space in your day in a more entertaining way.
What do you say?
That's how I thought of it. Somebody.
Well, I thought of it. We should read that old email thread with some of the ones that we came up with.
Oh, man. Do we have we're just like us brainstorming?
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's so long ago. Let's see the first email.
Just Google HeadGum and then go to your very first one that says it.
Yeah. There's 147 emails in my account that say HeadGum. Oh,
Seems
no.
like there should be way more.
Yeah, that was just the beginning of it. Oh, dear.
There's a way to go to last.
Oh, really? Oh, no, here we go. 337. Domain. Oh, my Lord. An 84. This is an email from Jake to me. September 4th, 2013.
Wow.
So this is soon to be 2 years ago. Here's a bunch of I just searched for. I bolded the ones I'm super into, including some before. I feel like let's make a move. Once we got this choice out of the way, we can get into the real shit, like ordering business cards and doodling a logo.
Classic me.
Pizza Thief, Good Game Team, Six Squad, Really Solid, Quilt Fort, Dope Force, Tick-Toe, HeadGum.
Wow. Did I bold that one?
No, yeah, these are all bold. Doan Bone, Backyard Mob, Backyard Squad, Tree Fort Trust, and Fort Built.
Fort Built.
And then you said, I still think Trustfall is perfect.
Yeah, Trustfall was a domain that we weren't allowed to get.
And then I said, I really like HeadGum. My sister-in-law said it's quirky and sounds like empty calories for your brain to chew on. Huh. But my brother says it sounds like getting gum stuck in your hair, which is bad. So that was the pros and cons of HeadGum at an early age. Then I found some websites that weren't available, but we could buy, like therecess.com for $1,100. I'm happy with HeadGum. I really am. Especially because the other ones we were considering is Braillecast and Doodly.
Doodly. Yeah.
Stiff Milk, Pod Stiff Pad, Towel Fort. Oh,
Towel Fort was good. I remember, that was my vote.
Yeah, I said I like Towel Fort, but I like HeadGum more. Easy to say and spell. Towel Fort. The problem is Towel Fort. It's like I say that to my parents and they don't instantly understand it.
Yeah, no, it's not as good as HeadGum. HeadGum's nice. I think the more you say it, if anybody
sturdy.
out there is bumping with it right now, just keep on saying it, because I didn't vibe with it either, and now I love it. HeadGum.
It's sturdy. It's like thick, and you just you like saying it. And
hey, tell you what, how about a little bit of free promotion right now from you to us? Turn to the person to your right or left and say, hey, I'm listening to a HeadGum podcast. Hey, just so you know, I'm listening to a HeadGum podcast.
Guy getting beat up on a bus. Leave me alone. Run to your door, lift up the window, and say, I'm HeadGum as hell, and I just can't take it anymore. Yeah, I don't know. Should we take a break? We've been talking for 25 minutes. Wow. Solid endorsement. We had a lot to say. We had to get this off our chest. This has been inside of us for 2 years. What an exciting day for us to finally expose it to the world. Most people don't work this long on anything. And I guess for a long time we were not necessarily actively working. But for the last couple months, we've been getting these people together, getting them recorded, getting them online. Thank you to the people at Spreaker for helping us out.
For real.
They're giving us hosting. We're using their awesome player. So we really appreciate it. Spreaker. We really appreciate it. Garrett Boatman for building the website that looks so good. And everyone else that's helped us along the way, and all of our podcasters and all of our listeners. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and answer some fucking questions, for crying out loud. This is an advice podcast.
Finally.
Gracias.
Spanish.
To BespokePost.com for sponsoring this episode yet again. Bespoke Post. BespokePost.com. And their box of awesome. Every month, they assemble a themed collection of goods and create a box that upgrades your day-to-day. It's kind of like a Christmas. You don't really know exactly what you get, but you can sign up for different
I know
themes.
exactly what I get for Christmas. My father lets me make a very detailed list, and I get everything I ask for. I get everything I want for Christmas, because my daddy cares about me and my mommy cares about me, and I love my mommy very much.
All right. So different themes of boxes, for example, are a Cheers box where they give you glasses, or a Copper box where they give you the Moscow Mule cups.
Every
and a
Christmas
mallet.
has been better than the last because I have always gotten just what I wished for.
Yeah.
I make a list of ever-growing demands.
All right, let me just get there.
And, okay.
One of the boxes is called Dive. They give you an awesome pair of swim trunks, a Frisbee, some chapstick, or Rome. They give you an awesome bag and a water bottle.
I get many awesome gifts every Christmas from my father, from Santa Claus.
Chard,
Yes.
which is a grill set. There's basically different ways to upgrade your
I make
store.
a list of demands, and
Yeah.
they are all met. And it makes me believe in Santa Claus.
No, I wouldn't want that to happen to you. So Bespoke Post puts together these unique goods revolved around different themes like grooming, food, drink, fashion, and others. And they know that guys will love it. They call it, as I said before, their box of
Shit
awesome.
looks good. Legit. I don't think I've seen anybody open up our cupboard and not comment positively on our Moscow Mule cups, those copper cups.
That's right,
They
which
look
were
dope.
given to us by Bespoke Post. Here's how it works. You sign up, you pick your first box, and then on each subsequent first of the month, they send you an email with a description of that month's box, which is always $45. And subscribers have said it's like having, like I said before, a monthly Christmas.
Maybe I'll ask my father for a monthly Christmas.
But since
Actually, I'll sign up for Bespoke Post now with my father's credit card. Amir, the number is 7641.
No, don't worry about the credit card.
It's
But
fine.
let me try
I
to
don't mind.
Let me try to at least save your dad some money, because listeners to this podcast get 25% off their first box when they subscribe. So if you go to bespokepost.com/Amir or use the code Amir at checkout, you'll get 25%
Just glossing
off.
over the fact that you can use Jake too.
Oh,
You just
yeah.
gonna not mention that?
Yeah. You can
That's
also go to
fine.
bespokepost.com/Jake
That's okay.
or use code Jake.
That's normal to just
But-
not mention me.
I mean, ideally you would use my
That's all right
coupon
with
code,
you.
just so that I look like the more convincing one. Guys hate commitment, so the best part is that if you're not interested in that month's selection, you can just switch or opt out at no charge. So you can sign up, you can get the boxes you want. If nothing looks that great that month, you can opt out or skip that month, and you can skip as many boxes as you please. They have a curated online store and a digital magazine with the same goal of introducing dudes to remarkable things. So if you're looking to upgrade your game, or if there's a dude in your life, once again, great gift idea. Check out bespokepost.com/Amir or
Bespokepost.com/Jake.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you as well to one of our favorites of all time. We're talking, of course, about MeUndies.com.
I'm wearing them. Are you wearing them?
Always, brother.
I legit threw out every other pair of underwear that I own.
And
I don't miss them one bit.
yeah. And why would you? We're talking about probably the most comfortable underwear on earth. Definitely the most comfortable underwear that we've ever worn.
Yeah.
But it's not just underwear. It's outerwear. They have cool socks, hoodies, shirts for guys and girls.
You're
and
wearing
this
your shorts right
and
now. Those sweat shorts.
Terra cloth shorts. Highly, highly recommend. And since we know that paying for shipping sucks, MeUndies has recently removed that from the equation. All orders in the US and Canada ship for free. They even have a money-back guarantee, so if you don't love your first pair of underwear, you get to keep it for free. You literally have nothing to lose. Let's make it a little bit of a sweeter deal.
How could we possibly make it a sweeter deal? It's perfect. It's the best deal of all time. It's free shipping, and you don't have to pay for the underwear if you don't like it. Game over. Let's get back to the show.
If you go to MeUndies.com/Jake or MeUndies.com/Amir today, or pretty much whenever, but let's just say it's today, it kind of gets people
like
wet
a
and
fire
excited.
under their ass.
Go to MeUndies.com/Jake or MeUndies.com/Amir for 20% off your first order and free shipping. So the price you see on the site is actually more than you end up paying, and they'll deliver the underwear to you. That's the special offer just for our listeners.
Holy shit.
But you got to go to MeUndies.com/Jake or MeUndies.com/Amir to get that 20% off your first order. Again, great for yourself. Again, a great gift for somebody else in your life. Do please check them out. They have been so great to us. We want to continue to spread the word, and it'll mean more to them if we send some peeps their way, send some eyeballs their way. You really should check them out. They do have a design of the month. Everything is constantly being updated. So if you haven't been in a while, check them out again. Anything else to add other than the fact that it's great?
It's soft.
Mm-hmm. It feels good to you?
Yeah, the patterns are nice. I never mind taking off my pants now.
Yeah.
Because I know my underwear is cool.
Yeah, you got the goods.
Yeah.
Whether it's the mustache, the pattern, the solids, the stripes. Mm-hmm. It's all great because it's all MeUndies.com. Let's get back to this episode, shall we?
Yes.
Hey, we're back. Totally forgot to mention the mysterious 12th podcast, that homeless guy that just takes shits on a microphone for 2 minutes a week. And we try to guess what he eats or guess what he had that day for lunch.
Anyway, yeah. His first episode is also brought to you by Squarespace.
All right. HeadGum.com presents If I Were You. Do you want to answer some questions on the show?
Yeah, I'm down.
Should we talk about what the show even is? Or this one's for the fans. They get it.
Yeah, they understand.
They know. All right.
They know.
They know. Here's a fake name. Rangi. Rangi writes, this is a real email from a real person, fake name, preserve anonymity, real people, real emails. Here we go. It is currently 2:09 a.m. and I am sitting in my car outside a dingy gas station typing out this message to you. We will get to the present in a minute, but first some background. 2 days ago, my girlfriend and I broke up. We had been dating around 8 months. The breakup was sort of amicable because we're going to college in a month and she didn't want to go out with me anymore. I also have another ex-girlfriend that I dated for a year in high school, and she went to college, and we had a nasty breakup that was no good for anyone. Fast forward to now, 2 days after my more recent breakup, at about 12:30 a.m., while out with friends, I get a text from my ex-girlfriend saying she's in town. We talk for a while and eventually arrive at the conclusion that we should meet up. The problem is, if I meet up with this girl, I know we'll hook up. She knows it, I know it, and if God was real, he would know it. I'm a very weak-willed person when it comes to making out with her. It's possible it could even escalate farther than that. Hence the convenience store where I'm buying an emergency box of condoms and some Sour Patch Kids while on my way up to meet with this vixen. So what I need from you two is to please record and upload a podcast in the next, say, 20 minutes that talks me out of this.
Sorry about that.
But my ultimate question is, what are the ramifications of hooking up with someone soon after getting out of a relationship? I don't want to hurt the girl I just broke up with, and she will definitely be hurt if she finds out I went straight to my ex after I broke up with her. Thank you very much. Love the show. Love. Rangi. Go. Rangi.
Think,
is there a moratorium? Is there a break period?
if you break up with somebody, especially it sounds like if they break up with you.
Yeah, I think that's the nut. That's the kernel.
Right.
If you break up with someone, I think it is kind of a D-mo, a dick moo, a dyke move to hook up with someone, let's say, in the next 3 days.
Okay.
Because that's like, hey, you clearly wanted to hook up with her right when we were breaking up.
Right. But I mean, like, there are no laws anymore.
No laws.
There are no rules.
It's not a rule. It's not a law.
It's really just
a
like
unspoken thing that I think.
Yeah, it's like, can you live with that guilt? And like, or can you live with keeping that secret? Because obviously, you know, you're going to go hook up with your ex, and you don't want you're going to hook up with your ex, and you don't want your ex to know, right?
Right. How will they find out?
Yeah, it's probably going to be fine. You're not cheating on anybody. You're just going to hook up with someone.
Right.
Everyone is free, unencumbered, untethered, stars in the universe right now. And you can hook up with whoever you want, and it might hurt somebody, but you know what? You cut yourself off from that person.
Right.
And then definitely that applies if that person breaks up with you.
Right.
Then you should. Yeah.
You owe it to
sure.
you. The countdown is on.
Yeah, then, I mean, like, for sure go and like hook up with whoever you can.
But it's
Get
such a
over that
complicated.
person.
There's so many like different shades of this gray. Like who broke up with who? Was it an epic breakup? Were you guys together for a long time? Does your ex know your ex? Are you going to hook up with someone that knows both of you? There's just lots of gray area.
Tell me something, because my opinion on this has changed as I've gotten older. I'm wiser now.
Yeah,
I'm almost 30.
2 days away from being 30, I should
is
say.
correct.
Just to continue this epic day.
So there is a time in my life where, like, if I broke up with someone and found out they hooked up with their ex-boyfriend, I would have been livid. I would have been so hurt.
Yeah.
But now if I did that, if I broke up with somebody and they went and slept with their ex, I would be like, that's understandable.
Yeah.
You wanted to go back and sleep with some, like, that's a good
What if they broke up
entryway
with
back
you?
into being single. Because, like, you want to sleep with somebody else that's not your boyfriend or girlfriend.
Right.
But you don't want to sleep with a complete stranger. You want to go back to sleep with somebody that's familiar. It's like testing the water.
Right.
It's
new but old.
Yeah.
It's exciting but also comforting.
it would be fine with me if that happened. I
It's-
would be like, yeah, good. That means we're getting over each other.
If I broke up with somebody and I heard that they hooked up with somebody else, I guess I would feel a little awkward, because then it's like, oh, I was just hooking up with this girl. I shouldn't say hooking up with her. I was the only one to be intimate with this lady for however long, 6, 12, 18, 24 months. And now the thought of her since that being physical and sexual and naked and with
Right.
somebody else feels a little weird.
It makes that person like an alien to you all over again.
Yeah.
But I guess I just feel like that's healthy.
I remember back in the day, I broke up with somebody and I was like, it's good, it's over, we shouldn't be together, this is healthy. But then like somebody showed me a picture of them making out with somebody else and I'm like, oh, this still like feels bad.
Why
and
would
weird.
someone show you that picture?
I think they were just like, I don't know. It wasn't like, look at this. It was just like, hey, look at, like, I don't know. It wasn't ill-natured, but it was just like, it felt weird. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to see that.
Right. I guess I wouldn't want to see it either.
Right. But like knowing that it happened, doesn't that make you feel a little
I almost
gross?
think I almost think of it as like thinking about my parents having sex. Like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to. But I'm like, on some level, I like hope they have a healthy, happy sex life. Like, I want that for them. And the same thing with an ex. Like, I don't want her to go into a hole and be celibate and not have any fun.
Yeah.
I want her to get laid too, but I don't want to know about it.
You don't want to know your ex-wife's sex lives.
Exactly. You didn't have to make life plural. You made it not rhyme.
Ex-wife sex life.
My ex-wife's sex life. Ex-wife, because the S
Apostrophe,
from,
yeah.
I know, but because the S from sex, you sort of don't need to make the life's plural. Ex-wife sex life.
Oh, my ex-wife's sex life.
It sounds
Yeah. Then we agree.
the double S. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's, what did this guy ask? Oh,
He asked if
talking
it's
about-
okay to go and hook up with his ex.
Yes, it's okay. We don't have to talk you out of it. I am kind of wondering why you bought some Sour Patch Kids in addition to the emergency box of condoms.
Wouldn't have done that.
I hope you're using the condoms correctly. I hope you're not stuffing them with Sour Patch Kids. I hope the Sour Patch Kids was just a little treat
He's
for
using
you.
the Sour Patch Kids to plug up his urethra.
So you do you, you know?
You got to do you.
And you're right. There are no rules once you're broken up. It is just like a polite thing.
Right.
A
There's
politeness
the
thing.
unwritten etiquette.
Yeah.
And I think that usually goes towards like, did that XX like negatively affect your relationship? You know, if I say I was going out with somebody and this girl's ex-boyfriend was always hitting on her and always saying like, hey, let's get a drink, I just want to be your friend. Like,
Right, like that
maybe
guy.
then that would really bother me.
Yeah,
If
you don't
it
want to be like that guy.
If he was a wedge that drove us apart.
Yeah.
And then I was like, we were breaking up and then she hooked up with him, then I would be pretty fucked. But if it's like, it sounds like this relationship came to a natural end and it was fine.
Right.
So I think it's okay.
But then, like, what's the amount of time that will, like, actually, if the other person found out, wouldn't feel that mad? Like, you're always going to be mad. Or
There's
like,
no amount of time. It always just has to happen. It just like, but it's
like, oh, he only waited 3 days. Oh, he only waited a week. Oh, he couldn't wait a month. Oh, he couldn't wait 2 months. It's only been 3 months.
it doesn't matter. But it's always going to feel weird. So you might as well like not overthink that part of it.
Right. All right. Oh, a question from a lady.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a lady's name?
Delanga.
All right. Delanga writes, I am a lady emailing you about a problem with a guy I am, quote, exclusively dating. Background, I met this guy on Tinder. He turned out to not be a murderer. We get along great. We've been dating for 2 months now, though I was abroad for 3 weeks of that, and we sexted often. A couple weeks ago, I had real life, real good sex with him. Now we don't text as much, but he'll still sext me a lot. Also, he stopped taking me on dates, though before they were very impromptu and revolved around food. Now when we hang out, we end up in his bedroom hooking up and watching Netflix. Don't get me wrong, hooking up is great, and he's not always the instigator, but I don't just want to bang this guy. I honestly feel like that he really likes me, but he's making me feel like a fuck buddy. So much so that yesterday I texted him saying, hey, take me on a real date. I'm not your fuck buddy. And he thought I was joking. The crux of the issue is, how do I make him treat me like a soon-to-be GF and not a fuck buddy without looking like a crazy bitch? Give me advice, please. Thanks. Delanga.
That's really hard. That's a really hard question.
Here's what I think.
Okay.
I think early on, guys sort of choose one way or another with ladies.
Are they courting or are they fucking?
Yeah. I think some guys are like, oh, I don't necessarily want to date this lady in a traditional way. I'd rather just bone them.
Right.
And then sometimes they're like, oh, I want to really treat this lady like a GF and not like an FB. More formal, less cash.
Right.
Unless you're young and then you just want to bone anybody, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And it does that happens both ways.
But the fact that he is trending you towards fuck buddy makes me think that he just wants you as that.
It is no bueno. I will say that they've been doing this for 2 months, and they did go on lots of dates that revolved around food. There's a chance that he is just moving faster towards relationship than you are. Like, because going over and hanging out in bed watching movies and fucking sounds like
that sounds like
they've been together for a year.
Right. Oh,
so maybe he's accidentally sped up the courtship process.
Right. He's so far ahead of the game instead of behind. But if you specifically asked him, hey, take me on a real date, and he still doesn't do it.
Right. I would say that text was a little aggressive.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a more positive way to say, like, hey, you say, I want to take you on a date. Like, invite him on. You create a date. You don't have to say, I demand to be taken on a date. I'm not just your fuck buddy.
Right.
Like, show him with your actions that you're not a fuck buddy. Like, if he says, come over my house tonight, you say, not tonight, but tomorrow, let's get dinner.
And then he'll say, I'm okay with the dinner. I'd really just like to have sex with you.
I think there's
to me, you are a buddy. To me, you are a buddy.
You are a buddy of fuck.
you are a buddy fucker.
You're a pal fuck.
You're a friendship fuck fest.
A sex friend,
if you will. So, do you think it's too late for her?
I don't think it's too late, but I think that there needs to be. I'm not even sure there needs to be a discussion. I do think that something needs to change if this is the way you feel. And I do truly think you can be the instigator. You do not have to wait around for him to treat you the way that you want to be treated. You suggest and make moves towards him treating you.
Yeah, and then if the dates are fun, he'll want to start planning them.
Right.
Or you'll plan the next 10 dates, and he'll be like, hey, what's going on here? I'm the only one planning dates.
Yeah, I mean, if he keeps on, I think what the move to do is, rather than getting mad and asking for what you want, you sort of do what you want. And if he's not on board, if he's not like embracing it, then you talk to him. You're like, hey, I'm trying to like inject some romance into this thing, and you kind of just want to watch TV and pork. And then he's like, well, I'm sorry, that's what I want out of this relationship. And then you say, all right, brother, peace out.
What if he's like, I'll go on dates with you, but every half hour I'm lying on the ground, I'm planking face up, and you better ride me. You better ride my dick.
I will, I think. And then you're like, all right, well, let's go to TGI Fridays.
Okay.
And
I will do that. I will go to TGI Fridays. Just know, 30 minutes on the dot. I will make my body stiff, so stiff that I will slide out of my
So
chair.
then you let him do
I will
that.
end up under the table.
Or on top of the table, or on top of the apps.
I will be on top of a potato skin basket, on top of a jalapeno popper.
With a medium dick, because it's not going to get fully hard unless you ride me. And then when he does that, you just take you add it to your Snap story and save the Snap as well. And you can circulate that video around online to shame him in the way that he deserves.
We might be getting ahead of ourselves, but
it's
maybe
a good
that's
option.
the case. Dare we answer one more question?
Wow. I say let's do it because this has been a long episode of us mentioning podcasts. You guys deserve it.
You guys have earned it.
But before we do that, just mention one more time. Check out HeadGum.com. Listen to all our podcasts, please.
Yes, if you guys leave this podcast wanting more entertainment, from not only ourselves but from our friends and our loved ones and
my mother.
Highly.
And my mother.
HeadGum.com. Enjoy. Third question from a dude. We'll call him Rise.
Together we
Rise. I just graduated from college in the spring and I've been working full-time for about 2 months now. I work for a startup in Philadelphia and I genuinely like it. The people are great. The work keeps me busy without being overbearing, and everyone, for the most part, has a real work hard, play hard mentality, which, as a 22-year-old recent grad, is exactly what I'm looking for. But here's the problem. Another guy my age was also hired to a very similar position as I. So we're basically doing the same thing. It makes it a little competitive, but in a good way, as it's friendly and he pushes us both a little harder. However, this guy really believes in the work hard, play hard mentality, as he's been going to the bathroom several times a day to do a little bit of the, quote, white girl. Obviously, I'm a little uncomfortable by this, but it's kind of hard to ask him to stop doing. Here's the thing. The bathroom visits seem to be working because his sales have been through the roof since he started doing them, to the point that if he keeps it up, it could start making my performance look bad. So here's my question. How do I handle this situation? Do I tell him he needs to stop in the friendliest way possible? Do I go to my boss and tell him what's going on? If someone is really crushing it at work with the aid of something illegal, is that a moral no-no? I really like this guy too, so I don't want him fired, but it's going to be harder and harder to keep this thing under wraps if it goes on. Please help. Love. Rise.
Rise. That is a real problem.
It's funny, when I first read this question the first time, when he said he's going to the bathroom to do a little bit of the white girl, I thought he meant masturbating. Yeah.
That shows how cool you are, dude.
Yeah. Turns out he means cocaine.
Yeah.
He is going to the bathroom, work buddy / competitor is going to the bathroom, snorting cocaine and kicking ass at his job. And this guy's like, what do I do now?
Right.
This is a tough
Tell
situation.
the boss, and he's like, oh, that's what a bad news. I don't know if we should say or do anything.
Because his numbers are really, really good.
Yeah, I'm like, I have a hard time buying, what you're selling here. I really think he might be okay.
Well, here's like the different ways to go back and forth. It's like, on the surface, tell on him he's doing something bad. And then it's like, all right, let's go a little deeper. You know what? He's not necessarily hurting anyone. He's doing a good job at work. You don't want to be a tattletale. And then you go even deeper than that. This guy's developing a drug problem.
Yeah.
I have to help him. I have to help him on a moral level, for he's doing a pretty hard drug several times a day.
At work. I think that's where I end up too. You can't do cocaine at work. I think this problem would likely sort itself out eventually, because maybe for a while the cocaine is going to give him woo, all right, we're going to sell stuff. And then, pretty soon, and this does happen with cocaine, you're going to be like, yeah, woo, I need more cocaine. Woo! Yeah, all right, more cocaine. Where's the rest of the cocaine? Like,
What do you want to do for lunch?
you don't stay productive on it. You
just
eventually,
want more of it.
Yeah, you become dependent on the cocaine, and then you'll just want to do cocaine all the time. He won't really think about sales.
It is funny to imagine him hyped up on cocaine, microwaving like a lean cuisine lasagna by the microwave, or doing something really mundane at work.
Right.
Like trying to fix the coffee machine, or banging on a microwave.
Or like picking up stuff from the printer, but it's not all yours. And you have to, like, somebody else printed like a return label from Zappos.
Yeah.
Like, is this yours? Woo!
How do I get these to collate? Woo! Seriously, this 5-in-1 office workstation, I really can never get it to fax or scan. Woo!
I think I'm disconnected from the printer. Woo!
What's the router? What's the router?
What's the IP? Woo!
What's the Wi-Fi? Because I keep getting disconnected. Woo! Is it
Anybody
easier
else just connected to the Ethernet? Woo! Woo!
My Outlook calendar isn't syncing up with my phone. Woo! It's starting to crash. Oh my God.
Has anybody seen my favorite mug? Woo! Woo!
Every time I try to heat liquid up in the microwave, it kind of splatters everywhere. Woo! But I can't really wrap it in paper towel because that gets really wet. Woo!
Yeah, does anybody want to get on the seamless order?
He's by himself in the office.
It's Sunday night.
So I think since 2 of those flip-flops angle towards you helping this guy, you should. But do you do it to his face, or do you tell on him?
If you want to be a real man, I think you go to him. You say, "Hey, you're doing cocaine at work. It's clearly not okay. Do you want to change? Do you want to do something? Because otherwise,
be better for this."
Yeah, something has to happen. It's not acceptable.
Yeah, or if you want to be like a fucking gentleman, a true man, look your boss straight in the eye and you say, "I am here to tattle a tale, and it's not going to be good. But I'm coming to you like I'm a young adult. I'm a 22-year-old man now. I'm out of college. I have to take care of my own business.
Sir, I'd like to tattle on my friend.
I would like to sit here, stare you in the eyes, and say, sir, I have a tattle."
Tattles aren't for drugs. You can't tattle on a drug. Weed, maybe, yeah. But if someone has a drug, like a legit problem, it's not called tattling. It's called helping.
So would it help to go straight to him?
I think the move is to go straight to him because it gives him a chance to come out ahead of it.
Yeah, and then if it doesn't, then it's like, but you got to really not care about confrontation to go straight to a guy about something like this.
I know.
If you can do it, more power to you.
I don't think I could do it, but I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah. So if I were you, I wouldn't do it because I'm a wienerhead, but I think you should do it.
But you know what? I'm never going to work in sales, so it's not really my issue.
Is it? Oh, mercy. Do you have to dial 9 to get out? Woo! All right. That's it. That's our time. Fortunately, you now have many other podcasts to enjoy as part of the HeadGum Network. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have your own questions, your own emails, your own theme song submissions, send them all to ifiwereyoushow@gmail.com. The opening one was written by Justin Kosiski, and this closing is by one of our favorite ladies, Ali and Lizette, who have done a bunch for us, and this is an Am I Wrong cover.
Oh, yeah.
So one last time, this is Jake and Amir for If I Were You and the HeadGum Network. We're saying goodbye. Woo!
Worshipping your words and all they say. Ain't trying to do what everybody else doing, just 'cause everybody doing what they all do. If one thing I know, how else is I know? You swipe your left, you swipe your right, it doesn't even know. Those who choose the hashtag go, always do what they advise. Jake's a bitch, Amir's a bro, listen to their podcast show.
That was a HeadGum podcast.